Hey everyone, welcome to another one of our videos. Today I'm going to be showing you how to install a upper dash, what is also referred to as a cluster surround, on your 2009 to 2014 F-150 or Gen 1 Raptor. In my case, the reason I'm doing this and I'm going through this process is because I'm upgrading to the little leather wrapped one that came on some of the higher trim level trucks on my Raptor. Even though the Raptor was a little bit of a higher trim level truck, it came with a lot more base items as compared to the other ones like the Platinums, Limited, King Ranch, so on. One of those things being just the normal plastic dash cap. So I wanted to give this a try and see how I like it as far as using the leather wrapped ones go. One thing to note is that if you flip this over, they come with, if you buy them used, which I think is the only way that you can get them now, they come with broken tabs often. These two guys here, I'm not sure how important those are. We're going to find out whenever we start pulling the truck apart, and we're going to be careful of those on the existing piece as well. But otherwise, you can see this one got off of eBay in pretty good shape, and we're going to see how it fits and how it looks and if we can make it work even with the breakage of those tabs. So I'm going to go ahead and hop into the truck, show you how to get things loose. It should be a pretty easy process, and then see how this thing goes in. Alrighty, so our first step in getting the upper cluster trim off, and by the way, that's the factory plastic Raptor one, is getting the cluster surround off. Now you can see mine's loose already. In order to do that, you have two 7mm bolts, one up here and one up here. Those you're going to loosen, they're going to drop down. And what I do in order to get this loose is basically grab either down here with fingers or back up behind here with fingers and pull this out straight towards you, and it will unclip. And you've got to pry it. There's four individual clips. You can see the hole for one, the hole for another, and there's two down here as well that you can't see on camera. Now, what I'm gonna do is pull this out as far as I can get it. On at least the later trucks, and I can't remember if the earlier ones were like this too, there was a, or is a vinyl shield down here that is connected to this. Makes it a little more difficult to get this off, and I can't remember exactly how it all connects, because it does attach to the upper portion of the steering column here too. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this out as far as I can and take a look back in there with a flashlight and see what, if anything, is obstructing taking this off at this point. And if nothing, then we're gonna go ahead and get it off. You can see once we have the screws loose, it's somewhat loose in there, so it may just be something that pulls straight out. Alrighty, so I've got this guy loose, but before I pull it out, I wanna really briefly show how I was able to get that loose. So I played around with it for a few minutes. It only took about probably 5 minutes to get it loose, just playing around with different ideas. But the way I was able to get it was using a plastic pry tool that looks like this. There's 3 clips in the front here. There's one roughly here, one in the middle, and one on the mirror image on the other side roughly there. And there's also those 3 clips in the back. And then there's the 2 locating pins, which are basically straight down each one of the sides. So what I was able to do is actually, with this guy pulled out some, get the pry tool up behind and hit the clip here, walk under it, hit the clip here, and then do the same for the other one. So I was able to figure out where those were exactly. What I did was come on the inside of this clip, hook that pry tool back behind here, and then just using both hands on the pry tool, no hands on the cluster, pulled straight out towards me, towards my face basically. And doing so was able to get this thing to just pop nice and free really easily. So at this point, I should be able to, yes, just slide that thing out, and I'll just set it over here on my passenger seat. And you can see that we have the upper dash area here, the above cluster area. This is the actual dashboard, and then our trim piece right here. And from what I can see, the panel, or the pins, don't really serve much of a purpose other than to hold in these side trim panels to an extent. And those guys, with how they're secured otherwise, are not going anywhere. So I don't see a reason that those side pins have to be in place and that we can't use the dash panel that we have. Again, there's 3 spots where it secures in place, front and back, and it also has 2 rear pins, which are present and intact on that other one that I have. It looks like it'll probably sit in no issue. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab that piece, clean it up one last time, make sure we're all good to go, and then bring it into the truck and see how it starts lining up. Alrighty, we have the new dash piece here lined up, almost installed. See if you can see the gap back there. It's not clipped in yet, but we should be ready to go ahead and clip it in. Everything seemed to line up. Like I said, I don't see any major issue with the pin missing. The one that's missing is on this side entirely. This one is still intact because of the staples used to hold the upholstery on, but it's cracked and separated completely from the main body of this. But in theory, and we'll see if we can catch it on camera. Yep. Give it a nice little push once all the clips are lined up and everything, and it's in place. Doing a little wiggle test. It's no looser on one side than the other, so I think we're going to be good to go. And it does look quite nice. So I'm going to go ahead and get this buttoned up and I'll show you what the finished product looks like. Alrighty, so here's the finished product of the leather dash cap. Pretty straightforward, simple swap. For me, it probably took 15, maybe 20 minutes total with all of the filming and everything, which wasn't a ton of filming, to be honest. But for you, it should be probably a 5 to 10 minute swap. I mean, it is really straightforward. You just take out those two screws, lift this front bezel out that goes around the cluster, and then literally hook a tool back behind the cluster surround, the upper surround, and pop it off. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and obviously test drive, make sure everything's good to go over the next few days, see if there's any rattles or anything from the lack of those pins. Like I said, I think we're clear. I did notice one thing, which is that you can see the hole for the pin right back through there. May not be able to catch it on camera because it's quite dark, but that's something that bugs me a little bit. It's not really a functional impact from what I can tell. This thing's no looser on one side really versus the other. It's kind of loose on both. And the old one was too. They're not, these trucks aren't built like Mercedes. So not everything's perfect tolerance is perfectly tight, but that makes them easy to work on and robust as well. So they're designed for a purpose. That said, I enjoy the look. You can get these with whatever color stitching you want. I think that several were offered. I've seen the black, which is what I have because all of my seats and everything in this truck are stitched black. Seen white, white or gray, I'm not sure which, red, blue, so on and so forth. So should be pretty easy to find what you're looking for if this is an upgrade you want to do. But I think it improves the look. With that, I want to thank you all for watching. Let me know down in the comment section below if you have any questions or concerns, and hope to see you in the next video. Take care.